Hi, my name is Christine Marie Palma Start. My pronouns are she, her, and sha. I am currently speaking to you in Ohlone and Patwin territory, also known and now known as Vallejo, California. Um, and I live and work here. I am a deputy public defender. I work here in Solano County, and I've been doing this work for as long as I've been an attorney, which is now 10 years. I started my post bar in Alameda County. I grew up in Union City, California, which is in the Bay Area. And I went to Fresno for a bit before coming here to Solano County, and now I've been here for about 8 years. Love my work. Um, I am a mom. I am a stepmama. I am a wifey. I am a community leader. I am a visionary founder. I am anti racist. I am decolonizing. And I am a spiritual person as well. Super into growth and development. My newest thing during COVID is learning about astrology and Filipino cooking. uh, let's see. So, why did I want to be a public defender? Well, I didn't go to law school to be a lawyer. I went to law school to be a public defender. I knew during my undergrad years while at Cal that I wanted to do public defender work. Um, and what opened my eyes to the world of criminal injustice is um, a internship, externship, position that I had um, in Washington D.C. I spent one of my semesters in undergrad doing the UCDC program, which is the University of California's program in Washington, D.C. And traditionally, I think most people, when they are interning in D.C. or in Sacramento at the Capitol, which I also did the year or two prior, um, you're working for a politician, or you're working for a committee, or you are interning for a policy institute, um, or some news media outlet or something. You don't really necessarily think about being a criminal defense investigator, but that's what I ended up doing during my semester in DC. It was my last year of undergrad. And I went there and I was a criminal defense investigator at Georgetown University's Law Clinic. They had a fellowship program there, and some of their um, attorneys there basically had a smaller public defender caseload, and so I was their investigator. And in that process, I met a rehabilitated man um, who had basically pled guilty to murder at age 17 and had been imprisoned for over 20 years. He had so many injustices that occurred through his process, through the legal process. There's so many to name, but as his investigator, one of my assignments was to help write his affidavit for parole. And he was up for his third parole hearing. He had been denied parole on two other occasions. Um, and through the process of getting to know him and visiting him while he was incarcerated on a weekly basis, getting to know his mother, getting to know his auntie, the community, um, the prison warden and staff that worked with him, I really got to get to know him on a person to person human level. And he was fully rehabilitated, and he deserved, absolutely deserved, another shot at living free, free from, you know, prison bars, free from a schedule that, you know, regulated him to, you know, eating, sleeping, maybe some working out here and there in his cell. Um, and, you know, so many corrupt things happened to him. He didn't have a very good public defender. His lawyer at the time had promised him he'd get out by the time he was like 20 something. That didn't happen. We were way past that age. His dad had a lot of mental health issues. He himself had mental health issues. His parents couldn't afford medication for him. He never got a competency hearing, which was basically a hearing, especially as someone that's a child at the time, um, a hearing to determine, you know, whether or not he understood what was going on and understood the legal process. Didn't get that. His own dad testified against him. It was just really, really shocking, shocking. And my bubble of a brain, childhood, and just kind of growing up in the suburbs, um, and not really knowing, you know, what it was really like to be out on the streets. Actually, I mean, being an investigator, I was out on the streets of DC, um, and it it really changed the trajectory of how I view what a, you know, what humanity should be doing, you know, um, like how society should be treating humanity. That's a better way of saying it. And I felt like society and the criminal injustice system, the legal system, done did him dirty, done did him wrong, just like it still does today. Um, and so that is why I decided to be a public defender, to be a voice for the voiceless. He had never had an investigator ever work on any of his cases, at least to his knowledge, you know, through his legal processes. And we connected on a real level, on a level where I really believed in him and he really believed in me, and I felt that, and I wanted to be able to provide that voice, that advocacy, that fierceness, and that groundedness, to him and to clients like him, to the clients I defend now. So that's why I became a public defender. Um, and I really feel like my diverse background, as an intersectional Panay woman, as a mom, as a first generation lawyer, in my family, I think I bring, not just a unique perspective, but a really fierce perspective that, I mean, I am the visionary founder of the Panay Powerhouse Conference, and this is a conference that empowers attorneys and law students and aspiring lawyers like yourselves, um, to be leaders in the law. So, um, yeah, I thank you for listening, and I wish you well in your careers moving forward, and am happy to share my story.